Welcome back to Always English. I'm your host, Emily Parker, and today we continue our journey through the fascinating details of languages. In this episode, I have the pleasure of discussing various aspects of language with Alessandro Rossi from Italy. Let's dive in. Alessandro, what languages are spoken in your country?
In Italy, the primary language spoken is Italian. However, we also have several regional languages and dialects, such as Sicilian, Neapolitan, and Sardinian. These regional languages are rich in history and culture, reflecting the diverse heritage of Italy. Additionally, many Italians speak English, especially in tourist areas and among the younger generation.
It's amazing how diverse Italy's linguistic landscape is. Is your language phonetic? Is it pronounced as it is written?
Yes, Italian is a highly phonetic language. Words are generally pronounced as they are written, following a set of straightforward rules. This makes it relatively easy to learn pronunciation for non-native speakers, unlike English, which has many exceptions and irregularities.
That must make learning Italian pronunciation much more straightforward compared to English. How could you convince someone to learn your native language?
Learning Italian opens up a world of cultural richness. It's the language of opera art and culinary excellence. Italian literature, from Dante to contemporary writers, offers profound insights into human experience. Plus, Italy is a top travel destination, and knowing the language enhances the experience immensely. The beauty and musicality of Italian make it a pleasure to speak and hear.
You make it sound so inviting. I'm tempted to start learning Italian myself. How many languages do you speak fluently?
I speak Italian fluently, of course, and I am also fluent in English. I have conversational skills in Spanish and a basic understanding of French. Each language has enriched my understanding of different cultures and ways of thinking.
That's impressive. Being multilingual truly broadens horizons. What 3 languages would you really like to learn and why?
I would love to learn German because of its cultural and economic significance in Europe. Mandarin Chinese interests me due to China's growing global influence and rich history. Lastly, Arabic intrigues me as it opens doors to understanding a wide range of cultures and historical contexts in the Middle East and North Africa.
Those are all great choices with so much to offer culturally and economically. Which should be the official world language, English or Esperanto?
While Esperanto was designed to be a universal language, I believe English is more practical as the global lingua franca. English is already widely spoken and understood across the world in business, science, and technology. Its widespread use and established infrastructure make it the more feasible choice for an official world language.
English does seem to have the practical edge given its global reach. Do you think of any languages that are no longer spoken?
Latin comes to mind. It's no longer spoken as a native language but still studied for its historical importance and influence on many modern languages. Ancient Greek is another, which like Latin continues to be of great academic interest.
Latin and Ancient Greek have indeed left a lasting legacy. Have you ever tried to learn a language and then gave up?
Yes, I attempted to learn Russian a few years ago. The Cyrillic alphabet and the complex grammar were quite challenging, and I didn't have the time to dedicate to mastering it. It's a language I still find fascinating and might return to in the future.
Russian does seem quite challenging. It's understandable to need more time for such a complex language. In your opinion, what is the most difficult or confusing language in the world?
Many people find Mandarin Chinese challenging due to its tones and characters. However, I think Japanese might be even more confusing because of its 3 writing systems: kanji, hiragana, and katakana. Each system has its own set of rules and uses, adding to the complexity.
The intricacies of Japanese certainly sound daunting. Do you think any languages sound musical, melodic, aggressive, harsh, or have some other notable quality?
Italian is often described as musical and melodic, which I agree with. German can sound harsh to some due to its consonant clusters and guttural sounds. French is often considered romantic and smooth, while Russian has a distinctive, powerful sound.
It's fascinating how each language has its own unique sound and character. Certain ideas can only be expressed in particular languages. How far do you agree or disagree?
I agree to a certain extent. Some languages have words or phrases that encapsulate concepts unique to their culture. For example, saudade in Portuguese expresses a deep, nostalgic longing, which doesn't have a direct translation in other languages. Language shapes our perception and expression of the world.
That's so true. Language can deeply influence how we experience and describe our emotions. How would you outline some of the main differences between a language you studied and your native language?
Comparing Italian to English, one major difference is the grammatical structure. Italian has a more straightforward and consistent phonetic system, while English has many irregularities. Additionally, Italian uses gendered nouns, which is not a feature of English. These differences can pose challenges for learners of each language.
Those differences can definitely be significant for learners. Does your native language have many loan words from English? Can you think of any examples?
Yes, Italian has incorporated many English loan words, especially in technology and business. Words like computer manager and marketing are commonly used in Italian. This reflects the global influence of English.
It's interesting how English has permeated so many other languages. Can you think of any loan words that English has acquired from your native language?
Absolutely, English has borrowed many words from Italian, particularly in the realms of art, music, and cuisine. Words like opera, piano, spaghetti, and pizza are widely used in English and retain their Italian roots.
Those are some of my favorite words in English. Do you think you would make a good teacher of your native language, and why?
I believe I would, because I'm passionate about Italian culture and language. I enjoy sharing this passion with others and helping them understand the nuances of the language. My experience learning other languages also gives me insight into the challenges learners face.
That passion and empathy would definitely make you a great teacher. Are you satisfied with the way the English language is taught in the educational system of your country?
Generally, yes, English education in Italy has improved significantly over the years, with more emphasis on conversational skills and real-world usage. However, there is always room for improvement, particularly in providing immersive experiences and opportunities for practice outside the classroom.
It's good to hear that progress is being made. Immersive experiences are so valuable. At what age is foreign language instruction included in the education system of your country?
In Italy, foreign language instruction typically starts in primary school, around the age of 6. English is usually the first foreign language taught, with additional languages introduced in secondary school.
Starting young really helps with language acquisition. Why is it usually easier for children to learn new languages than adults?
Children's brains are more plastic, meaning they can absorb and adapt to new information more easily. They also have fewer inhibitions and are more willing to practice without fear of making mistakes. Additionally, they often have more time to dedicate to learning.
That makes a lot of sense. Kids are like sponges when it comes to learning. What do you enjoy about learning languages?
I enjoy the challenge and the sense of achievement that comes with mastering a new language. It's also incredibly rewarding to connect with people from different cultures and understand their perspectives. Learning languages opens up new worlds and opportunities.
That's a wonderful perspective. Language learning is indeed enriching. In what ways are you a good or bad language learner?
I'm a good language learner because I'm persistent and passionate about languages. I actively seek opportunities to practice and immerse myself in the language. However, I can be a bit of a perfectionist, which sometimes slows me down because I want to get everything right.
Persistence and passion are key. But it's important not to let perfectionism hold you back. What aspects of learning English have you found most enjoyable?
I've enjoyed the cultural aspects, like exploring English literature and films. I also appreciate the vast array of resources available for learning English, from online courses to language exchange programs. Engaging with native speakers has been particularly rewarding.
It's great that you've found so many enjoyable ways to learn English. Which English skill do you find easiest to learn?
I find reading to be the easiest skill. English has a wealth of written material, and reading allows me to expand my vocabulary and understand different contexts and uses of the language.
Reading is such a powerful tool for language learning. What do you find most challenging about learning English?
The most challenging part of learning English for me is mastering the idiomatic expressions and phrasal verbs. They often don't translate directly and can be confusing. Understanding and using them correctly requires a lot of practice and exposure.
Phrasal verbs can definitely be tricky. What do you think is the most effective way to learn a language?
Immersion is the most effective way to learn a language. Being surrounded by the language in everyday situations helps you pick up vocabulary and structures naturally. Combining immersion with structured learning, such as classes and self-study, can accelerate progress.
Immersion does seem like a fantastic way to learn. Do you have any tips on how to learn a foreign language successfully?
Consistency is key. Practice a little every day, whether it's through speaking, listening, reading, or writing. Use a variety of resources like apps, books, and language exchange partners, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. They're a crucial part of the learning process.
Great advice. Consistency and practice are so important. What's the best way to raise a bilingual child?
The best way is to create an environment where both languages are used regularly. One parent can speak one language while the other speaks a different language, or you can designate specific times for each language. Exposure to both languages in natural settings is crucial.
That sounds like a practical approach. How often do you use your dictionary?
I use my dictionary quite frequently, especially when encountering new words while reading or listening to something. It's a great tool for expanding vocabulary and understanding the nuances of words. Digital dictionaries make it very convenient to look up words on the go.
Dictionaries are definitely handy tools for learners. When did you first start learning English?
I first started learning English in primary school around the age of 6. It was part of the curriculum, and I continued studying it through secondary school and university. My interest in English grew as I realized its importance in global communication.
Starting young is definitely beneficial. How did you learn English?
I learned English through a combination of school lessons, private tutoring, and self-study. Watching movies and reading books in English helped me improve my listening and reading skills. Participating in language exchange programs also provided valuable speaking practice.
It's great that you use so many different methods to learn. Have you ever had an English tutor?
Yes, I had an English tutor during my secondary school years. The one-on-one attention helped me address specific areas where I needed improvement and provided personalized guidance. It was a very effective way to enhance my skills.
Tutors can provide such valuable personalized support. In what ways do you practice your English?
I practice English by reading books and articles, watching movies and TV shows, and participating in language exchange conversations. I also write essays and journal entries to improve my writing skills. Engaging with native speakers regularly is particularly helpful.
Those sound like excellent ways to practice. What should we do to raise multilingual children?
To raise multilingual children, provide consistent exposure to each language. Encourage them to use the languages in daily activities and make learning fun through games, songs, and stories. Support from family, teachers, and the community is also essential.
Consistent exposure and support are key. What do you do to increase your vocabulary range? What techniques do you use?
I increase my vocabulary by reading widely, noting down new words, and reviewing them regularly. I use flashcards and spaced repetition software to reinforce learning. Engaging in conversations and using new words in context also helps solidify my understanding.
Flashcards and real-life usage are great techniques. How important do you think grammar is in learning a new language?
Grammar is very important because it provides the rules and structure needed to form coherent sentences. However, it's essential to balance grammar study with practical usage. Understanding grammar helps with accuracy, but practicing speaking and writing builds fluency.
A balanced approach is definitely the way to go. Do you agree or disagree with the statement fluency in a language is much more important than accuracy?
I agree to some extent. Fluency allows you to communicate effectively and be understood, which is crucial in real-life situations. However, accuracy is also important to ensure clear and precise communication. Striking a balance between the two is ideal.
Balancing fluency and accuracy makes sense. What are the most useful English books that you have studied so far?
Some of the most useful English books I've studied include English Grammar in Use by Raymond Murphy, Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis, and The Elements of Style by Strunk and White. These books provide excellent grammar explanations, vocabulary building, and writing tips.
Those are excellent resources. How do you plan to use your English in the future?
I plan to use English in my professional career to communicate with international colleagues and clients. Additionally, I want to travel and experience different cultures, where English will be a useful tool. I also enjoy consuming English media and literature.
Using English for travel and work sounds exciting. Which do you think is easier, to speak English or write it?
I find speaking English easier because it's more spontaneous and conversational. Writing requires more precision and thought, particularly with grammar and structure. Both skills are important, but speaking tends to come more naturally to me.
Speaking can indeed feel more natural. How will a better knowledge of English help you in your present situation?
A better knowledge of English will help me advance in my career, as many professional opportunities require strong English skills. It will also enable me to access a wider range of information and resources, and facilitate communication with people from different countries.
English proficiency can definitely open up many opportunities. Why have you chosen the IELTS exam?
I've chosen the IELTS exam because it is widely recognized and accepted by universities and employers around the world. It assesses all language skills comprehensively, and achieving a high score can enhance my academic and professional prospects.
IELTS is indeed a respected qualification. Will you celebrate if you get your desired score in the IELTS exam?
Absolutely. Achieving my desired score would be a significant milestone, and I would celebrate by treating myself to a nice dinner and spending time with friends and family who have supported me throughout my preparation.
Celebrating your achievements is important. What are your chances of getting the band score you need in the IELTS exam?
I believe my chances are good as I've put in a lot of effort to prepare. I've focused on improving all areas of the test and have taken practice exams to gauge my progress. I feel confident, but I know the real test will be challenging.
Confidence and preparation go a long way. Are there any other English exams that you are preparing for?
At the moment, I'm focusing solely on the IELTS exam. However, I might consider taking other exams like the TOEFL or Cambridge exams in the future to further validate my English proficiency.
It's good to keep options open. What if you fail the IELTS exam?
If I fail the IELTS exam, I will analyze my weaknesses and work on improving them. I'll seek additional resources and possibly a tutor to help me address specific areas. Failure is just a step in the learning process, and I'll use it as motivation to try again.
That's a great attitude. Learning from failure is crucial. How would you compare IELTS with other English courses or skills you have taken?
IELTS is more comprehensive and focuses on real-world language use. It tests listening, reading, writing, and speaking skills in practical contexts. Other courses may focus more on grammar or vocabulary, but IELTS provides a balanced assessment of overall proficiency.
It's interesting how IELTS provides a well-rounded evaluation. In what ways are they the same or different?
IELTS and other English courses both aim to improve language proficiency, but IELTS specifically prepares you for an exam environment and practical usage. Other courses might focus more on academic or theoretical aspects, without the same emphasis on real-life application.
Thank you, Alessandro, for sharing such insightful answers today. This has been a fantastic discussion on language learning and more.
Thank you for having me, Emily. It's been a pleasure to share and discuss these topics with you and your listeners.
And thank you to our listeners for joining us on Always English. Stay tuned for more episodes. Until next time, take care.